Welcome, beloved anointed ones. Let them feel it, every ounce of the doubt they carried, every whispered judgment, every secret calculation. Let them feel it now. This is the moment many of them never saw coming. You weren't exaggerating. You weren't playing a role. Every claim you made about your path, every declaration of who you were, every time you stood quietly while they laughed, mocked, or dismissed you, it was all truth, wrapped in patience. The harsh reality is this: people who underestimate the chosen ones rarely recover gracefully. A study on perception versus reality shows that when someone is confronted with evidence that completely contradicts their long-held assumptions, their humiliation can trigger psychological stress equivalent to minor trauma. In other words, the ones who doubted you are now paying the emotional price for being wrong, and you don't even have to lift a finger. Here's the brilliance in all of this. While they fumbled with their assumptions, envied in silence, or attempted to undermine you behind closed doors, you were quietly building a foundation they couldn't even see. They laughed at your claims, not realizing that your words weren't declarations to impress them. They were declarations that would eventually leave them speechless. You became a walking paradox to them, familiar yet unknowable, visible yet untouchable, someone they thought they could read but couldn't even comprehend. And now, as your reality unfolds exactly as you said it would, every smirk they carried, every eye roll they delivered, every haughty judgment is slowly curdling into pure, undeniable humiliation. It's almost poetic, really, watching someone who tried to write your story suddenly discover they weren't even in the author's seat. They thought they were critics, but they were only spectators to a truth they refused to acknowledge. And there's a little humor in it too, imagining the faces, the internal groans, the mental notes they take while realizing that the small claim you made years ago is now the undeniable headline of your life. But this isn't just about them. It's about the power of consistency, the subtle mastery of being exactly who you claim to be, and the quiet joy that comes from knowing that truth, patience, and vision never need validation from those who doubted it. The irony is thick, the suspense unrelenting, and the satisfaction deliciously unavoidable. Number 1. They finally realize your confidence. Wasn't arrogance, it was accurate self-measurement. For years, they judged your confidence as if it were a flaw, labeling it arrogance or ego. They didn't understand that what they saw as boldness was actually a quiet, unshakable knowledge of your own worth and abilities. Every time you spoke, moved, or acted with certainty, they felt challenged, not because you were threatening them, but because their own insecurities couldn't process someone operating from clarity rather than neediness. They mistook self-awareness for self-importance, and in doing so, they built a narrative about you that was never true. Now that reality has caught up, the truth hits them like a shockwave. Your confidence wasn't fabricated to impress anyone or to put them in their place. It was rooted in precise self-measurement, a recognition of your skills, your limits, and your destiny. They see you standing where you always said you would, achieving what you always claimed you could, and it humiliates them because they were wrong about you in the most fundamental way. They spent time projecting their doubts onto you, thinking they were reading your character, but the reflection they were seeing was their own fear. What makes it even more excruciating for them is that they can't argue with reality. They can't rewrite history or diminish your achievements. Every step you took quietly while they mocked, every plan executed with discipline while they laughed, every boundary you set while they assumed weakness now becomes undeniable evidence. They begin to realize that your confidence never needed validation, because it was never about them. Their humiliation is a mirror of their own failures. The inability to measure themselves accurately, the failure to recognize true strength when it walks in front of them. Meanwhile, you've been operating on a level of self-awareness that they can't reach. And their discomfort isn't about your arrogance. It's about the uncomfortable truth that they misjudged someone who was never pretending. Their embarrassment is inevitable, and the satisfaction of knowing it is completely natural. You were right all along, and they are finally forced to acknowledge it, not with applause.